change the song. He goes, yeah, bro, how long you been listening to this song? And I go, this is a song?
I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Danny Slab. So you want a painting? Maybe you want a t-shirt? Maybe you want some tote bags? We got more than that on my website, so check it out, SlaboArts.com. Thank you for watching. Love.
What's up? Danny Slab here, What They Want Podcast. Back at it again. Another episode with my guy, Snow.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, so this get to know Mr. Snow over there today. He's got a story to tell, and I'm glad to be here to coax it out of him if I can. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, so I mean, I really want to know, like my itching questions, because I've known you quite a while.
Right.
So where did your love for music come from? Like, where did it originate?
I mean, man, honestly, like it started out like I would have to give a shout out to my older brother. I know he doesn't get a lot of love or whatever now, but like he's the one who really started me with it. I mean, he always gave me shit because like, and this is whatever, but like I grew up, I was like loving NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, which is crazy to say that now, like
right.
I'm on a podcast with hip hop or whatever. But I was a kid, and that little funky stuff that they were doing all then, my brother's like, oh man, like you can't listen to that shit. You need to listen to Tupac. You need to listen to Biggie, all this other stuff, And I was like, all right, and I listened to some of that stuff, Bone Thugs and Harmony. He had collections out of this world. And like,
but those bands like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were written for specifically so it would be trendy and catchy, and that's why you liked it, because you're like, I like music and this sounds good. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it was the '90s too, so it was like boy bands everywhere.
Right, I mean, even you got Boys to Men, and right,
yeah,
to the older side.
They even had like rap groups, like B2K and all that stuff. They tried to do that. I wouldn't say that necessarily they're rap.
I mean, Wu-Tang Clan.
Well, true, yeah, but yeah, I mean, we did all that, growing up, and like I remember one time my brother, with like my mom couldn't find him nothing to get for Christmas or whatever, and like I was going through a Best Buy ad, and like Jay-Z's Hard Knock Life Volume 2 was on there, and it was on sale or whatever, and I was just like, it probably was something like little malicious to him because he was like whatever, but like I showed it to him, I was like, hey, you like this guy, and he goes, oh hell yeah, I love that dude, like da 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 da.
Right.
And like me and my mom went to Best Buy and bought him the album, but like seeing my brother like ears light up, he's like, dude, Jay-Z, like, and me actually kind of helping him to get it. I was like, damn, I'm like, all right, I'm cool now, like,
right, because you knew what he thought was cool, so then it was cool to you because he was your big brother.
Yeah, and like even I don't know, like growing up, like I ended up pivoting towards rap, hip hop, but he ended up, I remember I went through his CDs one time, and I was going through them. I'm like, man, I really want to get a CD so I can listen to it.
Right.
And I grabbed the Locks,
okay,
yeah, with Jadakiss, and I didn't know who all they were, but like they just had this song. It was number 5. It was Power, Money, Respect, or Money, Power, and Respect. And I was like, Money, Power, and Respect. You didn't like, I was like, hey man, this is dope. But then they were cussing. I was like, uh-oh. I thought I was gonna get in trouble or whatever, but like my brother.
So that was the Locks was the first group you heard cuss on an album?
No. Like I heard Tupac and NW. I heard it all because my brother was just infatuated with it.
Okay.
But me sitting on a bus and whatnot, and I'm sitting there just, Money, Power, and Respect. It's like, oh shit, or crap. It's like, you're like, uh-oh, and because I went from like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, all this. Boom bop.
Where they're singing in harmonies and doing.
Yeah, and it's like
singing to a girl.
You broke my heart. Like
right.
I'm going to school to give out.
Sorry, Valentine's.
Yeah, like give out my Valentines and whatnot. Like it's like I just wrote this Valentines to this girl. It's like, and now I'm listening to like, she's a bitch. It's like, huh?
Right, it's a big change.
It's a huge change for a kid.
I want to give you roses and chocolates, so hopefully we can make out under the bleachers.
Yeah,
or at your parents' house when your mom goes out to get groceries.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I got that album or whatever because he was like, I don't give about that album, take it, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And then I listened to that a little bit, dabbled in that a little bit, and then we moved. We moved, and like my mom finally let me buy the Eminem Show. That was the first album that I bought, and because like my brother had the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP, all that stuff, but I bought the Eminem Show, like, and I saved up a bunch of my money and whatnot, at that point in time it was a bunch of money, but I went and bought it. Then when I bought it, I was like, all right, this is my infatuation. So like I dived in it from there, and it was pretty much just shady everything. Everything from D12 to Proof to Carn Artist to Bizarre to 50 Cent to Young Buck, G Unit, and
Right. So that makes
list
sense
goes
why you
on.
were so interested in Bizarre. I got it.
yeah, like that was like my
That was your lane.
yeah, bro. I got a free Yayo T-shirt, like, and I almost got kicked out of school for wearing it because I thought it was just like free Yayo, the free Tony Yayo, but they're like, no, you're publicizing cocaine.
Right.
I didn't know what the hell cocaine was when I was like, what? I think it was like 7th grade or something like that. I didn't know nothing about that. Like, I mean,
You were wearing a Tony Ayer shirt?
it said
Yeah.
free Yale because Eminem wore it at the Grammys. I'm like, and the crazy thing about it, I still have that to this day. And I met Obi Trice and Kaniva with that shirt on, and like they saw it and they go, damn, like, you got a free Yale shirt? That's a fake one. And then I turned around and the fake ones don't have the 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying on the bottom.
Yeah.
Mine does. So he's like, damn, that's a
Damn.
real one. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Spencer's Gifts.
Man.
Way back in the day.
He had this. Yeah, I wasn't a big Tony Yayo fan, but he had this song with Mobb Deep when they connected for that brief period of time
Yeah,
with 50 G Unit and Mobb Deep.
The unit, yep.
Right. Well, he's like, something. My daughters are going to go to Harvard or Yale. So, hey, I hope you guys are there right now because this is about the time. So, I hope you're in that place.
I guarantee you they are because Yayo has been religiously faithful to 50 through all of his trials and tribulations of all of his beats,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Tony Yayo is that dude's right-hand man. So I'm pretty sure 50 took care of him. So,
Got it.
yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Right on.
Yeah. So that's my little dabble into my history of like why like Pat. And I mean, music has just always been in my blood. Like it's like
It's what's in your family.
well, right, yeah, it's in my family as well too. Which is crazy because everything my older brother did, like I picked up on it, and every person that he showed me, they were dope as fuck.
Did he ever play any instruments?
No, I think he played the flute.
Okay, so the entry level
Entry level,
Yeah.
He might have done that.
elementary school band type of
but, yeah,
instrument.
He
Okay.
wasn't really too savvy with all the. But he also grew up in a time where not everybody was a rapper. Nobody could be a rapper or a singer or whatever.
Yeah, but he could have had a Casio keyboard, or he could have had it's
Nah, he was more into drawing. Like he loved drawing, man. Like he was.
that was his lane.
Yeah, like he loved drawing, man. Like, and I don't know, he never picked it up and took it real serious, whatever. That's the problem with my brother, man. He never really had a passion. No one ever taught him to have a passion. So like he was very misled growing up, and led into darker stuff. But he never had a direction. And I can say, my brother. A lot of people don't know that he exists. With people we've done the podcast with, all that stuff. Even you, a lot of people don't know that I got an older brother, but he kind of laid the foundation for me to be the older brother to my my little brother, and he also showed me like what I shouldn't do, and my entire life, I lived my entire life trying to be different from him, because my entire life growing up, like that's all I was compared to. Like my entire life, Brian, you're Brian, you're Brian. My family said it. People that kind of knew me and him at the same time said it. So I tried my entire life to be different. But me being the middle child, it was hard for me to do. Like music was my only outlet. When everything was dark and where I couldn't seem to get out of things. Put on a pair of headphones and nothing could change anything.
So how did you get to the point of transitioning it from your love of music to actually being involved with artists and surrounding yourself with people that are part of the craft?
Sophomore, I think, yeah, down here in Olathe or whatever. Like this girl had a CD, and she was trying to sell it for her. It was her boyfriend at the time, and it was his name was Derillist, and there's another dude on there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I still actually have that album. But she was trying to sell them for like $5. Well, I didn't have no $5. I had no job or whatever. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, Katie, I know you're probably gonna either see this or not. But hey, I'm sorry. But I went home and I burned it because I listened to it and I was like, these dudes is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like these dudes is I like whoever this is. Um, and so I burned it, and then I ended up working with Katie at Burger King, and like she walked in with the realist. He goes his real name is Daniel, but like he went by Young Real and like that. But like he walked in and I'm like, what the hell? I was like that. It was like to me like a kind of like a celebrity because I was like, yo, this dude's on here rapping his ass off, like he's talented as hell, all this other stuff. And I was like, man, what's up, bro? Like I like your music or whatever. And I hollered at him on MySpace, and he thought I was an AR. And I was like, I'm not an AR. I'm just a fan of your music, whatever. And fast forward, like Real was a brother of Kadeen. You know what I'm saying? And then Kadeen was doing music with Nesto. They all were doing music with Nesto. And I finally, reached out to Nesto and Ev, and I was like, yo, like, you're dope as hell. Like, I downloaded all your mixtapes from that Piff, blah, 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 blah. And, like, then he was like, man, I'm working on this album or this mixtape, Career Killer. Like, it's going to be dope, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. And it's crazy. Like, it came out January 1st, 2010. But I showed up and, it was all love. He was like, hey, man, hey, what's up? What's up, Brett or Snow or whatever. Like, it was all just, like, they accepted me as a family, like, right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? Like, Real, Kadeen, that whole camp, New Rock, or at the time, they went by Hood Music. Like, they embraced me like family, man. And I was like, damn, okay. And then it just went from there. He was like, yeah, I got a song with Tech Nine. And I'm like, you ain't got no song with Tech Nine. Like, I didn't believe him. I was like, bro, like, all right, man. Like, how many people say they got songs with Tech Nine or whatever. And then he was on, In the Air with Craig Smith and, Tech Nine on the Collabos album. And it just, every album that Nesto dropped, it kind of goes back to like my older brother. It's like every person that Nesto showed me, I was a fan of. Was dope.
He just had the ear, huh?
Yeah, from BEE to Luck Lucifer. Now he goes by Luck Kennedy.
Oh, that's nice. Throw a little love to BEE. That's cool.
Hey, man,
what they want, baby.
Yeah, what they want, right? Yeah, and then he was shouting me out on records. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was just a big, downward spiral, bro. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad one, but it was like I just got invested into it, and then Cap Kirk with Ev was making the beats, and I mean, dude, like Jonas, he went by Boss Gang at the time. He was in a group,
right.
And he was like, I'm opening up for Wiz Khalifa. And I'm like, you're opening up for what? And we went to see him open up for Wiz Khalifa, and then, yeah, bro. I mean, there is no Snow, there is no Lil Frosty without Nesto the owner. Period. I every year I make it to his gravesite. I try to go there every now and then, but my life is just so busy, with the podcast and other stuff. But like, I try to go there all the time and talk to him, just to say, hey, what's up to him and see how he's doing. I know, obviously, he ain't responding, but, there is no me, there is no Lil Frosty, there is no What They Want podcast pretty much without Nesto the owner. And I really mean that because dude was, I mean, half of those people on the listen site that is from Nesto, because I figured him out through Nesto and all that stuff. I mean, me and Lil Chris drove in a snowstorm to go get his hard copy album. You know what I'm saying? We spoke about it.
Check out that episode.
Yeah, but from Young Fate, because I drove down to buy his album, and then I ended up buying Young Fate's album too. Crack raps, you know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good
Like I
story.
did. So it's crazy, bro. Like I said, it's a downward spiral, but like it's all dedication to Nesto and Katie, because I guess Katie's the one who started it all with giving me the tape.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
shout out to Kate, our Princess Kate.
Princess K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's a hairstylist now. She's dope as hell. She used to cut my
Got it.
hair. She
Got
might
it.
have to cut my hair after this too. But yeah.
All right. So who's your local top 5? Who's your local Mount Everest?
Oh man, Mount Everest.
Mount Everest. Why I keep going there with it?
This dude in
Mount
the
Rushmore,
last
God
episode, he said
darn it.
Mount Everest.
Gosh darn it. All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
my local.
Yeah, let's go. I want to go local, then I want to go bigger than that.
Okay. I mean, man, like,
Because I know you're a little jaded locally, so that's where I want to go.
shoot. Nesto, Kadeen, um, shoot. I'm trying to think of like people who I still listen to this day.
Nave.
Nave is up there, but Nave would probably be the last on my Mount Rushmore, and not to be that
Right.
He's extremely talented. He's stupid talented, but like I'm talking about like these people that
That you grew up listening to, right?
Yeah, like
he,
that I
he
grew
doesn't
up
have
in.
he doesn't have the discography to go back far enough for you.
yeah,
to,
like
Right.
I got onto Nave later in my life.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
like, not to discredit Nave
No,
because he has
music
some
when you're
crazy
growing
shit.
emoally is what gets you.
Yeah,
gets
and
you
it would be
like
Nesto, Kadeen,
Mhm.
oh man, shoot. Local wise,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it,
Yep. Say it.
Lil Frosty.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
gonna say him, because that's biased as hell. I know that's my brother, or whatever, but like the confidence and everything that boy spits is just crazy. And then I'll throw, like I said,
Gas.
this is it's very very hard. We could say Nave, but I want to say Ron.
Yep.
Because
I
like I
figured
grew
that
up
one.
with the Ron.
I figured that one. That was just kind of like a
Yeah, I know.
a gimme.
I know.
That was a gimme.
I know, but
based on you.
that would
yeah.
be like my top 5. We could do a Mount
Mhm.
Rushmore, but like
Yeah, but for the 5 Pete, that's solid. That's
Yeah.
solid. All right, now let's go. All right. So we already know one of them.
the Mount Rushmores of all time.
Yeah, of all time.
Musicians. Okay, so
Yeah,
like, Chameleonaire is
Yep.
is
There
the
we go.
one. Yes, Chameleonaire is the one. Got to go with Eminem. Shoot, all time list. I'm gonna throw this dude in there because like, even though like I try my hardest to get away from his music, but I keep getting dragged back into it. I do. It's Tech. Like
Yeah.
Tech 9, you know what I'm saying? Like he is. It doesn't matter. Like, and I say that because I grew up during a time where Tech was like really dark. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not this Tech that you know now, where he's like, Kansas City stand up. We're on the World Cup. All this crap. No, I'm talking about he's like, I'm drinking again. I'm slipping again.
That Tech, yeah.
That type of
Yeah.
like where he's like, leave me alone. The KOD album, like dark shit. And honestly, he helped me out through a lot of my trials and tribulations in my lifetime. And I know he never knows that,
I
but
don't wanna wake up. I just got bills to pay.
exactly,
Time
yeah,
away.
right,
Yeah, I
Yep.
know what you're talking about.
yeah. But him, and then I mean, man, my fourth, but my fourth would have to be Lil Wayne.
Got to give it to the man.
I Am Music, like he, and like I said, that's when I grew up, like waiting on Dat Piff for his mixtapes to drop. You know what I'm saying? I keep saying Dat Piff because I know y'all don't really know Dat Piff, but that shows my age. But yeah, it's like them four, man. Like I say Chameleonaire being number one because like that's another person like my brother was listening to before anyone knew, and this dude was coming home every day, chopped and screwed, and he's like, man, listen to this. And I was like, this music is terrible. Like, it was, because I was like, it's slow. Like,
bring it back and let
DJ,
me run it down.
bro,
Bring
I'll
it
tell you the
back.
story real quick,
Yeah.
man. Like, one day we went, and I went to hang out with him. I went to hang out with him and shit like that. This dude got an Xbox. And
Okay.
this is when you could put, you know, like your favorite songs on your Xbox, all this other shit. Bro, I was literally playing Madden. And I'm playing it, and this song is in the background. It's like DJ, Michael Watts. And it just, you know, and he left to go grab some like Dr. Pepper or something like that. He comes back in, he goes, bro, you gonna change the song? And I'm like, change the song? He goes, yeah, bro, how long you been listening to this song? And I go, this is a song?
It was skipping.
Bro, no, it just kept replaying, and I thought it was a full-blown song. I was like, he goes, man, Brett, he goes, the damn song's 46 seconds. I go, well, I thought it was cool. It said DJ Michael Watts, but it just kept cutting, and it just kept going. And I'm just sitting there just playing Madden like, hey, man, this is cool the whole time, you know. But he's like, no, you idiot, you got to change the damn song. I said, oh, well, I didn't know that shit, you know, but even just sitting there, bro. I swear to God, I was there for like 45 minutes. It's like DJ Michael Watts. I was like, bro, I didn't think
the
nothing
intro. You're listening to the intro over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
again.
I didn't know.
15 other bangers on that motherfucker, and you're stuck on the intro where there's
Bro, but that's also like
Yeah.
I said with DJ Screw music, like, or not DJ Screw, but like screwed music, screwed and chopped.
Mhm.
Like that shit, man. You could be sitting there listening to it for. I listened to "Riding" by Chamillionaire, chopped and screwed by OG Ron Z, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, like this shit's been going on for like 5 minutes. You know, because like there's so much different shit that goes into it, and then they slow it down too. So it's like, the fuck is this?
Yeah,
shit?
I like having the dude slowed. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Just like when I was listening to Paul Wall back in the day.
because I'm a big fan. So when you're a big fan, it's a lot different than
True, for sure.
Yeah.
But when I heard Paul Wall the first time he was chopped and screwed, I was like, man, this guy's black. Like this dude's hard. And then all of a sudden I saw him on Still Tipping where he's like, now I'm holding my nuts. It's Paul Wall, baby. I said, oh, Paul, what? This motherfucker's white. I said, oh my God. I was like, and he raps with Chamillionaire.
Hey, Paul, you sounded black. I don't know what to tell him.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't just like he sounded.
I know,
black,
yeah, but it's chopped and screwed, so it's
his voice was way different and shit like that.
it's dropped an octave. So when you
Right.
talk like you,
Yeah, it's Paul Wall, baby. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this dude's got a deep voice. Like, he walk up there, how you doing there, baby? It's like,
Right.
what the hell?
right?
But, you know.
Slick talking shit. Yeah,
Right. But yeah, I mean, I was big into all that stuff. So I mean, like my brother was just always big into Chamillionaire, you know. And then I listened to Chamillionaire, and when I was growing up, you know, his music I just related to. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a song called Middle Finger Up where he's rapping over Usher's Mountains, and it's like, you know, he's like, my middle finger up. He's like, to all who hate me, you know, and that's what I was going through, man. I had like a lot of friends fell off with, you know, and they didn't like that I like Chamillionaire. They're like, why we gotta listen to Chamillionaire every time, bro? Like, we're trying to listen to Drake and Lil Wayne, and I'm like,
That's what I'm
well,
feeling.
Mixtape Messiah 4 just dropped. Guess what? We driving to this the whole time, but they didn't like it, you know, and they didn't like that I was different. You know, they were all trying to go towards the trends of like Lil Wayne's, Drake's, Young Money, all that stuff. Which don't get me wrong, like I said, he's my number 4, but
You didn't say Young Money. You said Lil Wayne was number 4.
right, but Young Money is Lil Wayne. But the thing is like during that time, that's what most people were listening to was Young Money, Cash Money.
I grew up on Cash Money, like BG. Yeah.
Right,
Like
exactly.
Living Legend. Like,
Yeah, you hear his new album?
not yet. No,
That's dope. But he can't rap about a lot of stuff that he used to rap about
of course not.
because they got him, tapped.
Anyway,
But yeah.
next subject.
subject. Next subject for sure.
No, so you know what is it about like the just hip hop music that you like so much? I mean, is it the lyrics, the beats? I mean, where is it? Can you elaborate?
Yeah. Keeps you young.
Okay.
Because the thing is, man, is like you can listen to, you know, like I said, the Chameleonaires, Lil Wayne's, Eminem's, and stuff like that. But like those are all older rappers. You know, these kids these days, you know, like we had Los on here. He's like Juice World. You know, it's like Juice World's in his top 5 or in his Mount Rushmores. You know, it's like rap is constantly evolving.
Right, I couldn't name 3 Juice World songs.
Oh man,
That's just me.
yeah, he's
Well,
he's
that's just
dope.
me.
But that's neither here or there. Like I said, you know, like it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. I mean, just and it goes with fashion too.
Right.
You know, like if you caught me 5 years ago wearing New Balance, bro, no. I'd be like, I'm old and I need to be a dad and, you know, all this other stuff like that. And now I'm wearing New Balance. And now you watch videos with, you know, people and now they're, New Balance is embracing hip hop culture. They got Jack Harlow. They got Action Bronson and stuff like that. Like, if you want to be successful, hip hop is the lane. Now, you know, music is music. Regardless, music is dope as hell. But the trends do go towards hip hop. You know, it's always trendy and shit like that. You know, I'm wearing a dad hat, you know, and 3 years ago, this shit was not it. You know, you had to have a snapback at our tattoos, you know, and that's not it no more. You know, like,
Because it was always taboo, you know, like sneaking away to go to the, you know, the jazz clubs and all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's, you know, now it's on commercials and it's, you know, it's because people like us are now like the ones with kids. And like,
Right.
Hey, yeah, like I'd rather see a commercial with this than like some old, you know, Don Henley playing the guitar, you know, or Michael Bolton doing some nonsense. No offense, Michael Bolton, you're great with that stuff with Andy Samberg, okay?
right. But that's the thing, though, too. Like, you know, your kids, like, you grew up in a time period where you saw Biggie and Pac.
Like the end of it, yeah.
The end of it, right? But, like, the thing is, you saw that beef.
And the end of Cobain.
Yes. You saw the end of that.
Yeah.
And then you also came into the forefront of Jay-Z and Nas.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm just talking about beef-wise. But now these kids these days seeing Kendricks and Drakes going at it. And that is going to majorly impact their life, their livelihood. I know you're like, what? But it's true.
Okay.
It's true. Like, a lot of people, like, it's impact. The impact is crazy. You know, now, regardless of
How is it crazy? Why? How is it so impactful?
because it's something that hip-hop as a genre needed. Everybody was trying to be buddy-buddy. It's the same thing right now with the NBA. Nobody pays attention to the NBA. I'm wearing right now this. Do you know the record of this team?
No.
Okay. This is the best record team in the NBA right now.
My brother could tell you. I'm not a basketball fan.
Right. But I'm a big Cavs fan. Obviously, I'm wearing the stuff. But the thing is, you know, this team right here has the best record in the NBA. And it gets probably 12 national TV games.
That's not very good.
No. But the reason why is because, LeBron's on the Lakers. And the Lakers could be the most shittiest fucking team ever.
But everybody wants to see the king.
Exactly. So it's like, we got to show this bullshit-ass game that he's playing against the Nuggets. And it's like, all right, bro.
Blow them out. Right.
Yeah, no, the Nuggets end up blowing them out. But the thing is that nobody wants to, like, the stuff is just too, LeBron has made it too friendly. He's like, oh, man, we're friends, man. You know, hey, you want to team up this summer? You know, and you don't have the Michael Jordans and the Kobes where it's like, you want to
Super
do
competitive.
What? Yeah, you don't have the...
Bro, like, I'm going to win. Right, I don't care what you're doing over there. Like,
Exactly.
This is my team. Me and Pippen are going to do what we're going to do.
Yep, you stay on your side. We don't like you.
Right, we can be friends after the game, but...
Not even that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe and all them are like...
Jordan's a specific type.
Well, right. But, I mean, even Kobe, like, he's iconically known because he did the interview, and they're like, yeah, you know, and he's like, how do you feel being, you know, 3-1 or I think it was like 3-1 or 3-2 or something in the finals or the conference finals, and he's like, what about it? And they're like, what do you mean what about it? Like, you're almost, you're winning. He's like, job's not finished. You're not getting that from LeBron
He's still
James.
in game mode. Right, LeBron's won enough, and he knows.
He's like, man, yeah, we're cool, man. You know, shout out to my publishing company.
Yeah, right. I get it.
You know, like he just and
he's
like,
in a different type of stage of life, though.
He's been doing that though for the entire time. How can I be buddy with you so we can team up one time?
because he was dunking on everybody. I don't know, man. I mean,
But like I said, though, with the NBA, that's what the NBA is dying right now. Nobody watches it.
right.
Like, it's very stagnant. It's very like, okay, we don't care. We don't care who has the best record. We don't care who's good no more. We don't care. You know, the viewers don't care no more. It's like the lowest ratings. Now, to bring that full circle with hip hop, that's what Drake was doing. Drake was flooding platforms with bullshit ass music that wasn't hitting. Maybe it was hitting towards his people and his, like, you know, people in this whole little sanctuary. It's like, oh yeah, we're all cool, bro. We're all buddy buddy. You know, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna do a song with Lil Baby, and I'm gonna do a song with this person, and it's like, no. Kendrick's like, no, I don't want to do all that shit. Like, and you know, and Drake's like, why can't we all be friends? And Kendrick's like, fuck you. And it wasn't even so much a fuck you. He was like, I'm going to set the standard of competitiveness in hip hop. I'm going to bring competitiveness back to it. And this goes for Mac Miller, Drake, Wale, Big Sean. He named them all. You know, and a lot of people were like, oh, we're going to diss him. We're going to diss him. It wasn't him dissing y'all. He was just saying, he's like, y'all better bring your shit when you come to fuck with the genre of hip hop. This shit's competitive. This is something that I want to leave a legacy behind. I don't want to fucking be Tootsie Slide, fucking left foot up, right foot up. It's like, what the fuck is this? You know, or like the hotline. I like when you hotline bling. It's like, what the fuck? Come on, man.
Hey, man, my girl, what's her name? Erykah Badu, she did a nice remix to that. So
Okay, see, but she's more of into her genre.
right, I
Like
Erykah.
she don't veer nothing. She's like, I am who I am.
Right.
You can't change it. So
Got it.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, that's why I said it's going to be impactful for everyone coming up, because they set the standard. If you bring that bullshit here, we're going to shut that fucking door. And what did Drake go back to doing?
Fair enough.
Fucking Nokia, whatever the fuck that new song is he got. And he's dancing in it. It's like, man. You know, and I'm going to say I'm biased because of Kendrick or K-Dot, but it's like, because Kendrick actually, he has substance in his music. You can hear it. You know, just with like the Eminems and I mean, I'm going to say it too, with J-Rock. You probably don't even know. Do you know who J-Rock is?
Yes.
Okay.
You seen my mixtape, dude?
Okay, yeah, you're right. But yeah, J-Rock and...
I bought it in California. Yeah, right outside of Watts.
Okay, well, there, yeah, you're really in there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, Absol, the whole camp and shit like that. Like, you can't really sit there and say, if I asked you right now, who did Drake bring on? You can't tell me.
I just know him for doing a lot of features with people. For bringing people on, you know, there's other people that are known
that's what Kendrick said.
For
He
putting
said,
people on.
he's like, you had to go see Future when you had to see the club. It's like, and Lil Baby got your lingo up. It's like,
Yeah.
he said that shit. He's like, you go to this places and you eat off of their culture. That's what you do. But everyone does that in hip hop though. Like, you got the Post Malones.
What we were just talking about with Lowe's hybrids. You know, it's like you grew up in one place, you grew up in the Bay, or you come out here, and then you grew up in, you know, Philly. And if you can adapt and still make your way, you know, that's a cool thing. Yeah, but it's different than buying people's styles. I get what you're saying.
Well, not even just buying people's styles, man. You come in, like, for an example, Post Malone, man. The dude comes in with some fucking braided cornrows and with gold fronts and everything, and he's like, I'm so
Smelling
sad.
like sour milk.
Well, probably, I don't know. But, you know, he's like, I'm so sad, and he has songs with, like, you know, your hip-hop artists or whatever, and then now he's like, I need some help. I know I can't get this off the shelf. What the fuck is that? Like, and this dude's wearing, like, straight country boots, fucking, you know, no gold fronts at all. He's like, culture vulture. Like, he literally just came in, he ate off of all rap, and now he's like, okay, now how do I pivot? Okay, I'm going to do country music now.
Because Jelly Roll started going big again. That was the first pivot.
I mean, see, and that's the thing, though, too, man. Like, with Jelly Roll, I was a big hater on Jelly Roll because of that. But then you actually listen to his country music.
He's great.
Yeah, dude's got, like, a lot of pain in his music, so you could relate.
Mm-hmm.
You can't relate to no goddamn fucking Post Malone songs.
I like Jelly Roll.
Tell me your favorite Post Malone song.
And the pigeons went a cycle, which is coming, Michael. I don't know the name of it, man. Like I told you, I can't name songs like that. I don't know the Rolodex.
I forgot what that
It's
song
the one
is.
with 21 Savage.
Rockstar.
There you go.
And you know the funny thing about that is,
What's that?
I'm going to hit you with the snow nose.
All right, Snow Nose. What's up?
T-Pain wrote that whole record.
Well, it's fantastic. T-Pain's the man. I saw you in Scottsdale, all right, and it was the dopest show ever, bro. Thank you.
See what I'm
I
saying?
made out with the hottest Asian chick. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Was that his wife?
No, T-Pain just came out of nowhere. He just
Oh.
showed up at Club Next. Yeah, it was crazy.
Hey, man.
It was wild. I was just there on Asian night because it was hip-hop night, and somehow the Asians really liked it down there.
Hey, man, that's dope.
And she bought me drinks. Yeah, it was great.
Damn, you damn near met T-Pain. That's the hook god.
Yeah, that was
Besides-
right. That was
besides
right when
Nate Dogg.
Plies. That was like right when Plies was hitting. And
Oh,
everything.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got the... Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I saw the good T-Pain. Yeah,
She
it was
got
cool.
it.
Yeah, because he would just happen to be in town, and
Yeah.
that was cool.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, I know we went on a whole spill or whatever, but yeah, man, that's it. I don't even know what the question really was.
So, what's your favorite part about this? What's your favorite part of this podcast?
I mean, it goes back to like what I said, man, interviewing people I looked up to, you know, people that I I don't know, man. Like I never really had too many role models in my life. You know, like the role models that I had in my life was like my older brother, and he was in and out of all of his stuff he was doing. And, you know, I grew up without a father, so like I didn't have my father to lean on. You know, and I didn't have no role models. Straight up. And, you know, like I mean, yeah, and I mean Nesto and all of them and stuff like that were my role models. You know, they might not be shit to y'all, but it's like they showed me the way. You know, and even
I get it.
even with my trials and tribulations where like certain people are hitting me and they're like, hey bro, like F that dude, F this dude, F that dude, and the like beef type shit came into play. You know, I hit Nesto and Ev and whatnot, and you know, it still sticks to me to this day, but he said, man, remain a fan. Regardless of like him dissing me or like somebody dissing me or not liking me, whatever, don't ever get it twisted. Just stay a fan. So that's why I did the podcast. Like I was a fan of Roswellville. I was a fan of Lil Frosties, you know, Danny Slab. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a fan of all these people that I managed and Kang Lamont's. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm name dropping, but Lil Chris's, all that stuff, man. Like Marvelous Villains. The list can go on, man, about who I've dabbled in. But the thing is like I took this shit serious, man. So then I was like, all right, well, you know what? Like, those all came and went as artists, whatever the case may be. And I realized something that I realized out of all that situation is I was always the one that was consistent. And what I mean by that is I was like, hey, man, you know, drop something here. Hey, drop something there. Hey, drop something here. I was always on to everyone's asses about dropping. I'm like, hey, drop this. Hey, drop next week. Or, hey, you got to drop one time on, you know, trying to do it. I'm like, man, like, had to step back and was like, shit.
Why is this not working?
It's not working because people aren't always built up to what you are. So,
Right. You can't expect that from other people.
yeah, you can't expect you out of someone else.
Yep.
You know, and that's just the realization of it. And, you know, I ended up, you know, doing the podcast thing. And that's why I was like, man, let's bring these people on, you know, and give them a voice. You know, because the one thing that, you know, one thing in my entire life that I've never had was a voice. You know, and I say that, you know, because you got your Lil Frosties, you got Columbia, or you got Blaze, you know, like he was speaking about like the cancer and stuff like that, like with the F Cancer song.
Right.
You know, and that's what I'm saying, like I could never be a rapper. I could never be an artist. You know, like I can never get my feelings out. Everyone that knows me, you know, you can contest to this too. Like I'm really like a closed book. It's really hard to get to know the real me. But I say that because I've never really had a voice. You know, like somebody was always telling me to go one direction, And even though I wanted to go a different one, I was told to go that way. And that's with everything I did, man. From growing up, people were like, "Hey, you got to go this direction, or you're gonna be that direction." You know what I'm saying? Like comparisons with my brothers, like you're gonna be him. You know, when I was bumming Chameleonaire, like, and they're like, "Bro, you gotta bump a weed." It's like I went the other direction. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like I always went a different direction. I went to my own beat, and that's why I created a podcast and started to bring people through. And I'm genuinely a fan of like almost every person that we've brought on. And once upon a time they made music. Maybe they still making music, or maybe they like Stoney is still shooting. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of videos and stuff like that. We've had comedians, all types of things. I mean, shoot,
clothing lines.
Yeah, Los Loco freaking sells beef. You know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe we got some Wagyu for you.
Right, get some Wagyu. We got coupons right here and all. But shameless pub. But but yeah, I mean, I just always was doing my own thing, man. I can say that because I had no direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have followed what I was brought up in, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Straight up. And I don't think like my younger brother would have been here if I would have went that direction. So with everybody telling me to go left, I always went right. So it is what it is.
And that's Snow knows.
That's Snow knows. Yeah, that's Snow. That's me.
Well, man, I really appreciate you blessing me with this podcast and being able to be a part of this with you. I feel honored. And I was going to ask you where is this going to be in 5 years, but I think you and I are going to talk about that offline and manifest that, baby.
Yeah,
because it's going to be big. It's going to be big. Stay tuned. Yeah, so it's my guy Snow Knows.
Yep.
Danny Slab. Thank y'all for watching.
I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want.